They'll probably say, where exactly are you going with this? I see you really trying to take it there. Old school flow, chew you out, ain't fair. Jordan pants don't...
Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zod. Anyways, man, basically, before I even go into what I want to go into, man, shout out to all the homies that really represent the channel, from IE to SD, from SD to the 805, from 805 through the Valles, through Los Angeles to the OCs, and to upstate. You know, shout out to this real fools that really rock with the channel, and they not necessarily all double S's. Some are blood, some are keyways. You know, anybody that's rocking with the channel for real and not on that bullshit, because, you know, you got some, they try to infiltrate the, you know, but it don't work. You know what I mean? Because at the end, you get found out real quick now. And shout out to all my Reddies. You already know who you are. But basically, man, the whole video is about this whole notion that you have to be Raza in order to speak up on Raza business. Now, in a sense, you know, I can find some semblance of truth in it, because it's like, at the end of the day, regardless of how long you've been a part of certain, you know, shit, you're basically a guest in the house. Now, there was somebody I had ran into in prison a long time ago that had that, not even prison, it was like county jail. He had that same train of thought and way of thinking. He felt like that I should kick in with, you know, he's one of them broke ass fools that never really had no money on his books, didn't really have no, man, cats, get up out here. That cat is terrible. But anyways, he didn't really have no money. He didn't have no type of game. So, you know, he was one of those never on the phone with no females, you know, constantly begging his mom for shit. And he felt like, you know, since he was starving in the next cell and we're on lockdown, that I should basically give up all my store to him in order to make sure he ain't hungry. But whether he understood or not, we're in the 6-man cells with all homies. So it's like I got to take care of them before I deal with the other cell. And not that I didn't kick down a couple of times, but dude just felt like I should be doing that every day, like when, you know, when we're eating. And that would have been something that wouldn't have been a problem, as far as like, hey, we make a quick little spread, slide it over there. And we didn't know how long we were going to be on lockdown, but it's like, you know, for the people that have been incarcerated, you know, you get a little piece of Snickers, you good. As long as everybody get a little piece, it's something in your head that's fine with that. But like I said, I use that as an example because I've ran into cats that felt the same way. Like, hey, you're a guest in our house, so you should go above and beyond. Whether it's the way you dress, whether it's the way you talk, whether it's the way you conduct yourself. If one motherfucker cleans one way, you should clean like 10 times better than that. That's why you have some black homies that get out with this train of thinking that they have to be that super, super, super cholo in order to be accepted. And for the most part, I grew up cholo, so it was nothing to me. Now, going way out, like, I didn't have to do that. It was just in my talk, which people tend to criticize now to this day. Like, oh, you're putting extras on it. Sometimes I say, well, sometimes I don't. That's the whole thing of being a maverick. You're able to switch up. And it's funny because most of the people that talk about this, they don't go to their job speaking Ebonics. You don't go to your job telling your boss, que orale. You don't do none of that unless your boss has grew up in that same environment and is willing to allow you to do that. But for the most part, when you're dealing with you know, people that, it don't even have to be Caucasian. They're just people that have businesses that want you to speak a certain way, and not all proper, but, you know, a semblance of that to show that you don't lack intelligence, that you can actually, you know, hold a conversation or whatever, you know, and that's the funny part, you know what I mean? People tend to overlook that. Now, like I said, this whole video is just basically on people that, you know, they feel like you need to be Raza in order to speak up on Raza business. For the most part, it would be true if these particular people, such as myself, didn't actually put myself in positions numerous times in order to make sure somebody that was of your race was taken care of, whether it was physically, whether it was this, whether it was that, but just really, you know. And I say all this to say this, because there's no glorification in prison. I'm just saying, a lot of these cats that are speaking from a point of frustration, like when you don't necessarily follow the same agenda as them, as far as like their rhetoric, you know, they might be like, oh, well, F these fools because they did this to the you know, the iloteros or whatever, and then I come along and be like, you know, the shit is wrong, But if you're gonna talk about it, just go do something. See, that's how I've been taught. Like, hey, we ain't gonna get into the talking. Like, if you put on social media that you wanna smack these fools and do this, but you don't go do it, you're just talking. You're allowing your emotions to cause you to say something that you're not gonna actually participate in yourself. And the reason I say it was funny in the past is because the same people that are pushing for you know, gangsters to get out there and get it the way we usually get it is the same ones that say F us behind closed doors and don't feel that, you know, we're part of it. Of course they're not gonna feel like I'm part of it because I'm not Mexicano. But I've seen fools disrespect their own just because this fool is not from Mexico. Or you're born in Califa. Like, you know, I see it all the time. I deal with people that have that same way of thinking. It doesn't bother me because that's, you know, I'm not Mexicano, so it's like whatever. Like, it goes without saying. Now, I made the video because I just wanted to point out the you know, the contradiction in a lot of way these fools be speaking. Like I said, you got the dudes that every word in their vocabulary is in this, nigga that, and sagging their pants, got their fades, like everything. Like, it's just their whole swag is a whole different culture. But they'll get on, they'll criticize cats such as myself and other cats that feel like we have no right. It's like you can't just be about your people when one thing happens and then it's like you're black, like for the you know, 350 something days out the year, and then when something happens, just that one day you're about your people. These are the same cats, like I like to point out the fact that when they had all these protests, you know, to get these kids out of cages and stuff like that, these kids were nowhere to be found. You can go on Facebook, and even though I'm not no liberal, you know what I mean, even though the liberals try to use me as part of their agenda, if you go on Facebook, there's a whole page with me on the front of it, and they're using me to push their agenda. Now, as far as like with the kids getting out of cages, I was all for that, but they used it for like the BLM and all this other, you know what I mean, that don't even have nothing to do with, you know what I'm saying, like that don't make no sense to me, you know what I mean. It's because I know the true agenda behind it, and that's why it's something that I would never represent. Plus, I ain't no libtard, but all I'm saying, man, is like you can't contradict yourself. It's like if you want to say what, you know, another person can't, you know, because they're not Raza, then what are you doing for your people? You say I'm not doing nothing for the Raza, but you say I'm not Raza, so why would I, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can't pick and choose. Like when it don't fit your agenda, you can't hop on here and want to, you know, ostracize somebody just because they don't necessarily go along with what you're saying. And that's what I get. That's why I said, like, the whole social media shit, a lot of it is hypocritical. A lot of people are one way one day, and then the next they're like this. It's like I had ran into a cat, and he was cool. But then, you know, we start talking about, you know, blacks and dating, you know, Raza, and he was kind of like, you know, letting shit fly out his mouth. And then, but then he looked at me, he's like, oh, you know, like, caught it. Like, I respect people that are 100%. Like, you say what you need to say, and if it's disrespectful to the point we gotta fight, then we just gotta fight. But at least you were man enough to say it. The ones that feel like they need to pull their punches, like, oh, but I'm not talking about you. I find that shit so disrespectful, because it's like, I know you're not talking about me, but it's like, be 100, like, be straight out. You can't, oh, I don't mess with no blacks, but oh, I mess with you though. Like, that's the type of shit I deal with constantly. But it's one of those things that it comes with the territory. Like I said, yeah, before the camera went on, basically, I'm gonna try to bring it to inclusion, but basically, like, I get it. A lot of people are looking for people like me to push a positive narrative as far as like peace treaty this, peace treaty that. But understand, I don't have that sort of power. I'm not one of those that can get out on the street and tell somebody, you know what, you neighborhoods should stop beefing because, you know, it's just not conducive to a real future. I don't have that sort of power. And at the end of the day, I would probably get the same flack that I get off of cats that, you know, get up in their emotions, and then, you know, they come with the, oh, you didn't agree with what happened, so, you know, oh, so now you're not representing Raza and this and that. It's kind of hard to say that, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard for me to take you serious, because at the end of the day, like, I've actually, you know, it's documented that I've actually put mines on the line for the Raza. You know what I mean? And it's also been documented on the street as far as like multiple videos and everything. Not just my videos, but other videos that people have captured with me out there actually participating in things that could benefit the Raza. You know what I'm saying? But I have yet to see a lot of you that was supposedly doing this. But I see you at no protests. I see you. Dude, it's hot as hell. But I'm out there trying to, you know, put forth my little effort. Maybe got a few more people to come to the protest that wasn't going to go in the first place. You had Mr. Homicide. You had Moses. You had man, you had a gang of people that was there for someone there. Scar was there. People were there for different reasons, but at the end of the day, it's like it was also, we had a common goal, and that was to make voices heard. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is like this: if before you criticize and before you get on here and be like, oh yeah, who's not Raza, who's not doing this, you know what I mean? You gotta think of the bigger picture. You gotta really sit down and look and be like, what am I doing for the Raza? Like, what are you doing for your race? The ones that seem to criticize me, the one that's gangbanging, or the ones that don't like cholos. Yeah, you're Mexicano, but you don't like cholos. You don't like, every cholo is a vagabundo until you need help. You see what I'm saying? Like, I've seen it a gang of times, like, all you fools are trash. But then, soon as something happens, it's like you're hoping the gangsters are the one that take it into their hand, because we do. That we go out and do something in order to vindicate you and make you feel like, hey, you know, somebody did this, when you can go out and simply do it yourself. That's what people didn't like, is because I pointed that out. Like, you're steady looking for the cholos to go out there and put it on the line, but you're not going out there to put it out yourself. You don't like us, but you only when it's wartime. Like I see the bigger picture. And I also see that a lot of you like to equate the whole Raza thing with Southerners, and it's different. It's different. Like, yeah, everybody, most artists that represent that sur are Raza, but from different spots. Honduras, El Salvador, like, there's a lot of different ones. A lot of them are black. Some are Puerto Rican. Some are Cubano. It's a lot of different ones, and we all represented for one cause, but for different reasons. A lot of us got into Lavada for different reasons. Some of it was just comfortability. Some were just fell in love with the culture. All I'm saying is, you can't tell me what I can't speak up on. That's all I'm saying. It's kind of hard to tell me what I can speak up on when I put my life on the line constantly for it, but you haven't did the same. That's all I'm saying, man. Anyways, man, this video was just one of those, you know what I mean? Just tell people, like, chill out. Like, it's not that serious. So what? And if you're one of those fools that be like, you're not Raza, but you sag your pants and, you know, every other word is the N-word. Like, oh, yeah, you grew up in the ghetto, so you got a pass. Okay, well, I grew up in my hood, so I get a pass, you know? All I'm saying is just, you know, just don't be a hypocrite about it. And on that note, I'm your boy Zod, and I'll be back with something of more substance tomorrow. On that note, I'm out.
Kneel before Zod!